of the individuals on your planet. Allow such a co-creation to exist. Through you, we get to experience that many more facets of creation, and we thank you for the gift of our understanding of how creation can expand in a multitude of ways. We would like to begin this transmission, this day of your time, with the following idea. We have, from time to time now, discussed with many of you the notion that in this time of transition, it is very much like you are, both metaphorically and we know sometimes seemingly literally, going through the eye of a needle, where things become very highly intensified. And the idea, as we have discussed from time to time, is to understand that the only way to pass through the eye of the needle, being so very small, is to let go of those things that don't belong to you. To stop carrying the extra baggage of belief systems and definitions that have nothing to do with you, that have nothing to do with your joy, your dream, your truth. For if you keep hold of them, they make you, with this extra baggage, incapable of fitting through the eye of the needle, which is designed only, which is only big enough to allow the true you, the core you, the essential you through. Thus, if you find yourself having difficulty, resistance in the change, it is usually because you are still carrying things that don't belong to you and cannot fit through this infinitesimal eye of transition. Now, there are many, many, many symbols, many metaphors, many reflections that reflect to you the idea of the transitions you are going through, many different ways that you surround yourselves with reflections to reflect this idea to you, to symbolize this idea of having to let go of those things that don't belong to you. And another such symbol in terms of the synchronicity, in terms of the timing of what is going on, is the idea of the approach of comets to your planet. Long have your people understood that the idea of comets does represent omens, signs, information, and messages, but not because you are ruled from the outer world, the outer planets, the outer stars, but only because they reflect what is already going on in your collective consciousness in terms of your own timing of change within yourself. So you can look to the heavens for a reflection of the timing going on within you, not in the idea that these things cause the timings, cause the changes, but they are simply symbolic of the timing going on that you have already set aside for yourself. And thus the comets, similar to the notion of the eye of the needle and the letting go of the excess baggage, will be seen in their structure to break up, to give off their tails, as you say, to spew forth gases from their nucleus, to let go of those things that they cannot carry with them the closer and closer and closer that they approach to the primary light of the system, which is your central star. This is a very good analogy for the idea of the process you are all going through. The closer you get to the light, the more you must let go of those things that you cannot take with you in order to allow yourself to be stripped to the core and thus come to your closest approach possible to that source of light, the infinite light within yourself. Use this analogy wisely and recognize that there is no accident in the timing that you have had a precursor comet, that which you have named Hyakutake, that has passed and is passing, and that there is also the approach of the larger comet that you have named the Hale-Bopp. These things symbolize the beginning of the transformation, your ability to get used to the idea more and more of letting go of those things that you don't really need to take with you, and thus then in the precursor comet, shall we say the minstrel comet, that which precedes the larger comet, it gives you time to get used to the idea of letting go. For when the larger comet comes, it symbolizes the great need to let go much faster, on much grander scale of those things that do not serve you, that do not belong to you, that are not representative of your truth and your core essential self. And represents, the larger comet does, a time of greater transition, greater change, greater acceleration, which is, as we have just said, the process of letting go. and allowing yourself to be more truly and only truly who and what you are. So in this passage through the eye of the needle, when you have stripped yourself down to the essential core and only allow yourself to take action upon those things that contain the essence and only the essence of your highest joy, then will you be capable of sliding smoothly through the eye of the needle with no impediment, with no resistance, and then expanding on the other side into a new you, wherein then only those things you brought with you through the eye will then expand to fill your reality, and on the other side of that gate there shall then be those things expanded that shall contain nothing but the essential frequencies of light and vibrational energy that are representative and reflective of the true and essential you. A symphony and an orchestration and a harmony of like vibration rather than the dissonance and cacophony that many of you are experiencing now by holding on to frequencies and tones that clash with your essential song. Let go of those dissonant notes, those vibrations that do not match the vibration in your heart of hearts. The reason they do not match is that they do not belong to you. You have perhaps acquired them on your journey of growth from other people, your parents, your peers, your society, and they perhaps at times have served you. But now you must stand on your own and mature as true adults by allowing yourself to choose, to have the ultimate responsibility of adults, to choose what you know is true for you and to let go of what you know is not. We thank you for allowing us to present to you this particular perspective this day of your time in this communication link through this gate. In return now for the gift that you are giving our civilization in communicating with your civilization in this way, I ask you now, in what way may I be of service to you?
Bashar. And I was just wondering why the decision and the purpose for that initial frequency.
Well, first of all, it is easier energy for the channel to have gotten used to before getting used to our energy. Anima is a social engineer and was instrumental in helping prepare the channel to receive more energy from us and the connection that the channel had more directly with us. So by having someone that is involved with me in my society, but not directly connected to the idea of the channel in the same way I am, it was easier for the channel to undertake her energy first to get used to being able to handle our energy.
Was that helpful to our world as a feminine spirit coming in through?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Daryl.
Absolutely. In open contact, when the hybrids will appear among you, along with other extraterrestrial civilizations, one of the groups after the first contact specialists, such as myself, will be the social engineers. The social engineers will work with humanity to help you understand planetary management.
Would you offer up your perspective on the social engineering definition?
Planetary management, moving through all things in balance, in a balanced state, in an equal state. So it's about the idea of balance as the primary component of planetary management.
And that's in a positive perspective, of course. I've looked it up online, and there's not a positive perspective online of social engineering.
No, the social engineering, as we understand it, is something quite different. But that's the closest word you have in your reality to translating the idea.
So the teachings that you've brought forth so far in the last 40 plus years, that is the beginning of the social introduction of re-engineering our minds in a positive sense.
Yes. Then the next step from the social engineers will be to guide you through the idea of how to actually physically apply all these things to the management of your entire planet in a way that's beneficial for all.
And that would be the formula?
Well, the formula is part of that, but I'm actually talking about the idea of information coming from extraterrestrial sources and technology that allow you to grow enough food for all, to change the idea eventually of what you call your borders and your politics, so that things can be done more efficiently on your planet for the benefit of all, and the rearrangement of other social ideas on your planet that will again allow for a more positive introduction to the children of the earth so they can grow up being self-empowered individuals in a very positive way. So it has a lot to do with a lot of those different things of education, of application of information, of technologies in a way that benefits your entire planet and every person on it.
Thank you for that clarification.
Yes.
Are we looking at that in the next 20 years? Social engineering?
Basically, by the year of 2050, the idea of the social engineering programs will have been applied in direct force, in direct ways that will allow you to know that after 2050, the trajectory of human evolution will take on a very different quality and an accelerated rate.
Very exciting, very exciting.
Yes.
I have
It
another
will
question.
also aid and assist in the introduction of humanity to the idea of the galactic society, the galactic family, to which you will then be a part of.
Yeah, Galactic family. I have a question on that because I've been introduced to that now 20 plus years, and
Yeah.
I'm quite acclimated as much as I know that I can be right now.
Yes.
Someone brand new into this, what would it take to just begin to understand a galactic connection?
Following the formula will help a lot.
Okay.
Because again, when you act on your passion, you raise your frequency. When you raise your frequency, you become a better antenna to receive higher frequency information. Many extraterrestrials, such as my own civilization, operate on much higher frequencies. In other words, you'll be able to tap into the dialogues that take place on higher frequencies and begin to absorb information that will allow you to acclimate more quickly to the idea of, shall we say, what's going on out here.
Thank you.
Yes.
On the same line, this year I've integrated some of the Aloha teachings, which I feel are somewhat of the feminine principles of our perspectives that I've been working with you on. And
yes.
I feel maybe that's Anima's alignment as well in those teachings, the resonance.
Well, yes, but not only her. There are many hybrids, both male and female, that are connected to the idea of the social engineering that provides balance between the masculine and feminine energies that need to happen on your planet. So she's a symbolic representation of that, but she's not the only literal individual involved.
Would you say that Anima is the Ethasani presentation of that?
It's not the only Ethasani presentation of that. She's not the only one from Ethasani doing that. It's just that you can use the idea of Anima as, in your language, the expression of a male energy through a female, as opposed to animus, which is the idea of the female energy through a male. So it's simply generically representational of a balancing of those energies. So you can use it symbolically that way, but we're also talking about the fact that she is literally an individual in my society who is a social engineer, but she's not the only one that will be involved with your planet when that time comes. So you can refer to her in general that way. I'm simply saying she won't be the only entity from my civilization to be involved with Earth in terms of the social engineering aspect.
Thank you. I understand.
Then we thank you for the co-creation of this interaction. Our unconditional love to you. Aveo.
Aveo. Thank you.
Hello, my love and gratitude to Daryl and Bashar for this co-creation.
We thank you and good day.
4 decades of my life were spent working on computer software. When I was in high school, I was fascinated with computers. And the thing that got me hooked on computers was a text-based game called Adventure. And that game was a simulated game world, and you could use commands to navigate the world. And I've always wondered if this was a simulation. And part of my interest in computers, I think, was part of this interest that I have in understanding reality. And so one of the questions that I have is regarding computers, and is this reality in some way related to a computer executing a virtual reality? For example, in computer science, we have something called a quantum. And what that means is it's a time slice within a time-sharing computer. And so within that quantum of time, something could be rendered into a reality. And so, my question is, should I consider that this simulation we are in is a computer simulation in a quantum of time rendered a billion times a second?
No, it's your simulation collectively. Your spirits, your souls are creating the simulation. The idea of the existence of your computer programs is a reflection in your technology of what you are doing organically, spiritually. So it's a reflection of the idea of what you're creating. You're creating the simulation, but your technology will reflect that idea.
Okay, thank you for that.
We thank you. Unveiled. Good day.
Unveiled.